Good morning, YouTube, BookTube. This is Johnny. I should just say it like I always do. I thought I'd make a video. It is January the 4th, 2022. It is 8:46 in the morning here in West Michigan. It's one of those clear sky days, but it is freezing cold out there. We're supposed to get a snowstorm starting this evening, going to the rest of the week. But, you know, it's Michigan winter. So, yeah. I thought in this video I would show you some books, show you what I'm reading. I have a bunch of thrift store books and books from the Book Nook. The Book Nook is the local library used bookstore where I volunteer on Mondays and Fridays from 10 to 1. And I got books coming in the mail. I had some books coming in the mail last week that I'll show this morning. First of all, I'm going to show you a book that our daughter Bethany got me for Christmas. The Penguin Classics book. It's all the it's here. It covers all the Penguin Classics up until the First World War. So it has all these covers of Penguin Classics. It goes through the different sections: medieval, classical Asia. The thing I was most interested in was it was like has classics on Norway, Sweden, Henry Thoreau, just all the Penguin Classics covers and descriptions of the First World War. And so she got this from Beth and Andy and Louisa, Margaret, Jack, and little Nora Jean got this for Papa for Christmas. When I looked at this Penguin Classic book, there were a couple that looked really interesting that I wasn't aware of, and one of them I got in the mail was this one. I started reading it. It's called A Manuscript Found in Saragossa by Jan Potocki. I can't pronounce it, but this one it was translated out of Polish by Ian Maclean. This Jan Potocki was born in Poland in 1761, and anyway, it looked really interesting, so I didn't have it. And there are a couple others that I put in my Amazon box. So when I go out to thrift stores or used book sales or the Book Nook, I look for Penguin Classics, and I have a lot of them. The other night I went through the library and I must have over 100 Penguin Classics. I think any bookworm has Penguin Classics. So I got this. As far as in the morning, as I said, I haven't changed my routine. In the year 2022, I'm reading Ludolph of Saxony, The Life of Jesus Christ, Part 2, Volume 1, Chapters 1 to 57. I'm on page 401. I'm in chapter 26. Jesus prepares to enter Jerusalem, where he'll be crucified, and then on the third day he'll be risen from the dead, and then 40 days later he ascended into heaven, where he reigns right now. And then I read this yesterday. Yesterday I was at the Book Nook from 10 to 1, the library used bookstore, and I read Reformed Systematic Theology, Volume 3, Spirit and Salvation, and I read on Regeneration, Part 1, on page 419. So I alternate. So this morning I read Beeke yesterday and Smalley, and today I'll read Ludolph of Saxony. Writing in my paper diary as I've been doing for last, I don't know, since I was 17, 18 years old. Now I'm going on 70. This is page 8 for the year 2022. As far as besides Christian reading, I got this in the mail last week. I came across it somewhere on Amazon, some book review. It's called The Sunken Land Begins to Rise by M. John Harrison. It's kind of like a fantasy. It's kind of like a, it's hard to describe it. Maybe it's a science fiction, fantasy kind of thing. This M. John Harrison apparently has written a ton of books, and he's considered, I don't know, cyberpunk and science fiction and fantasy and gothic and kind of horror kind of genre. He's British. I think he's British. Now I'm not too sure. He could be. It says here, the Sunken Land Begins to Rise Again, winner of the Goldsmith Prize in 2020. The Times says Harrison's unsettling and melancholy novel, gritted with farce and dreadful laughter, shouts award winner on every page. That's the Times. The Guardian says Harrison is without peer. I don't know. I haven't been that really impressed by it. I think it's gotten even. But anyway, I've been reading this. And then as you all know, I got into Mark Twain. I was reading Van Rickbrook's The Ordeal of Mark Twain. And then there was a book that kind of refuted Van Rickbrook's book on Mark Twain, and this was this one. I got it in the mail last week. Mark Twain's America by Bernard DeVoto. And he disagrees with Van Whitbrook's portrait or how he interpreted Mark Twain. And so this is a refute, a different perspective on Mark Twain. So I've been reading this. I really highly recommend this. He just looks at Mark Twain's America, what America was, how Mark Twain saw America, and how he described it in his writings, like Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer and Roughing It, and anyway, I'm really enjoying this. So I got this. There was a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, I read about a book on Mark Twain, and I got it in the mail. I ordered it used. It's called Chasing the Last Laugh: How Mark Twain Escaped Debt and Disgrace with a Round-the-World Comedy Tour by Richard Zacks. I have another book by Richard Zacks. He wrote a book called The Island of Vice, Theodore Roosevelt's Quest to Clean Up the Sin-Loving New York. I have that one in my Theodore Roosevelt collection by Richard Zacks. So I got this in the mail. Yeah, towards the Samuel Clemens, who is Mark Twain, was not really good with money, and he became bankrupt. I think his publishing company he started. One of the things that Mark Twain was responsible for was the General Ulysses S. Grant's memoirs. He approached Ulysses S. Grant as he was dying and said, "Why don't you write your memoirs?" And he published them, Mark Twain. But then he do some bad business deals and mismanagement of money, and he wasn't really a good business person. He went into debt, so then he had to pay his debt, and he went around the tour giving a comedy tour, and this is a book on that. He did write a book around the equator, Mark Twain, describing, I think, that comedy tour. So I got this in the mail. And I also been reading a biography, bits and pieces of it that I have on Mark Twain, called Mark Twain, A Life by Ron Powers. So I've been reading parts of this as I go through the life of Mark Twain in different books. I also been rereading this book last night. I got it back out, The Bohemians, Mark Twain, San Francisco Writers Who Reinvented American Literature, The Bohemians by Ben Tarnoff. So this goes into different writers besides Mark Twain, but it's really good. I read it a couple years ago. I think this came out in 2015. So it goes into Mark Twain. It goes into Brent Hart, Charles Warden Stollard, Anna Coolbrith, who was a poet, and then it goes into, I think it also has a chapter on Wendell. I think towards the end it goes into the life of another writer. I can't remember right now, but yeah, William Dean Howells is mentioned in this book, so I've been reading this, rereading it. So these are the things I haven't started reading Chasing the Last Laugh by Richard Sacks. I haven't started this one. Really enjoying reading Mark Twain's America, rereading The Bohemians by Ben Tarnoff, reading selections from Mark Twain, A Life by Ron Powers. I read this before I go to bed at night. John Polnack, Manuscript from Bound. I can't pronounce it, but this is in the Penguin Classics. A present from my daughter and my daughter's husband Andy, and our granddaughters and grandson Louisa, Margaret, Nora, and Jack. And I've been reading The Sunken Land Begins to Rise Again by M. John Harrison. Still reading through the year 2022, The Life of Jesus Christ, Volume 2, Part 1, Chapters 1 through 57 by Ludolph of Saxony. And reading Reform, Systematic Theology, Spirit and Salvation, Part 3 by Joel R. Beeke and Paul M. Smalley. Writing in my diary and just going through the day. I'm feeling okay today. I mean, my leg still has that nerve damaged. My right leg, and I still got the buzzing in my ear. I had to cancel my therapy session for tomorrow because we're supposed to get this bad winter storm going through. But the Lord gives grace. Yeah, I got a message, I think, from my my therapist. Oh, I see, no. So, yeah, that's about it here. Not much else to report. I got books coming in the mail this week. I might this morning, because the weather is clear, I might go to the Biblist of Mexico around the corner. Yesterday I went to Goodwill because I went and got myself a haircut and my beard trimmed, and right across the street was Goodwill, and I got some used books. I might go to Action House down the street, another thrift store nearby this morning. So yeah, so I have to go to the bank and get some cash. So that's it here. I hope you're having a good week, that you're vaccinated, got your booster, that you are not sick with this new upsurge of the Omicron virus, and now the COVID-19, now we have the Omicron. So I thank you for your comments, thank you for your support. I do pray that you have a good reading week, and not much else to report. I'll show those thrift store books and Book Nook books sometime this week, maybe towards the end of the week. Until next time, bye.